There is no question that our modern era of film is packed with substandard remakes, crappy reboots, brainless sequels, and lazy adaptations. While there are some diamonds, they are few in the quagmire of Hollywood. I've watched wonderful pieces of work like Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, Terminator, A League of Their Own, Star Wars, Star Trek, and Scooby-Doo get collectively curb-stomped into the ground. Marvel, desperate to hold on to Joss Whedon's snarky and witty dialogue from the Avengers, and for more meme fuel, pack their films and TV shows with so much quote-unquote comedy, unwilling to let the audience ever experience a single poignant moment. DC, desperate to reach the same level as Marvel, decided to copy their rival in every way possible, relinquishing its role of becoming the darker, grittier, and more thoughtful comic book universe after the Dark Knight trilogy, and just becoming the knockoff version. Lord of the Rings writers took incredibly charismatic, fascinating, iconic, and badass characters, stepped on the rake of stupidity, resulting in a medley of forgettable, arrogant, and annoying characters. All this because they wanted to and were desperate to claim the financial success of Game of Thrones. Terminator Dark Fate jumped straight on a landmine in the very first scene with the killing of John Connor. A League of Their Own, a hilarious, heartfelt classic of American cinema, was molded into some kind of quirky rom-com that focused on relationships more than baseball, a complete trombone slide of a show. Star Wars, gleefully subverted by Rian Johnson, nut-punched by J.J. Abrams, and failing to pull off Joss Whedon's Marvel-level humor, gave us a whiny villain, an unlikable Mary Sue as a protagonist, didn't seem to realize that they made this guy a Jedi, made him into a deadbeat dumb dad, and destroyed one of the most iconic characters ever by making him a scared, pathetic, unlikable douche. Star Trek, the first franchise to get ball-slapped by Abrams, went from a mature series asking thoughtful questions to a quirky, hyperactive, lens-flared action film where the characters yell, scream, and cry their way through scenes. And finally, Scooby-Doo, a fun mystery show of my childhood with memorable characters turned into some kind of hellish offspring that should have been killed before it bred. I have always enjoyed Scooby-Doo. From the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You to Mystery Incorporated and the animated and live-action films. I still dig it. I knew that something truly despicable was in the works when I first saw the unsightly teaser trailer to Velma. I bet the writers thought they were really clever coming up with that Judy Jetson genre-bending, at least she is white, why change classics joke. I believe that the creators knew that an original show with original characters would fail. Instead of challenging themselves to tell entertaining stories with compelling three-dimensional characters with understandable motives, doing their job by making a good show, they rode the coattails of a beloved IP knowing that fearing loyal fans would watch the sodomization of their childhood characters, unable to look away in order to pass the data analytics test with high viewership to ensure a second season. And it worked. The number crunchers could not hear the boos over the fact that Velma had become the most watched HBO Max original animated series of all time. How is that possible? How is this possible? How is a show that scored 1.5 out of 10 on IMDb and a 7% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, a show so universally hated, the most watched HBO animated show of all time? Samurai Jack, Spawn, The Boondocks, and Tom and Jerry are on HBO. I have never, in my entire life, turned in an assignment that received a 15%. I may not be the sharpest spoon in the drawer, but this is abysmal. But of course, being the most watched HBO animated show of all time, Season 2 was inevitable. Here is my solution to the problem of substandard remakes, crappy reboots, brainless sequels, and lazy adaptations. And you're not going to like the analogy. You know that scene in Trainspotting with Baby Dawn? That's what needs to be done with these miserable shows. Abandon it. Do not click on it. Do not watch it. Let it die on arrival. Spawn kill it. That's for all the gamers out there. Every click or dollar spent is a vote that says, yes, make more of said product. Ant-Man 3 was crap, and yet it made over 100% profit. There's probably going to be an Ant-Man 4, and it too will suck. The studios are not deaf. They know the hate they are getting, but the box office returns speak for themselves. I believe that they make these bad films because they know that we, the audience, cannot resist seeing how awful their projects are. These shows are nothing more than the creators venting their past frustrations and failures on screen. They write the snarky comebacks they wish they could have thought of in the moment they were heckled. They blame everyone else for any kind of hardship they experienced without taking any responsibility themselves, hoping everyone will agree with their turmoil. And they attempt to make the characters cooler and completely indifferent to what others think of them, though desperate for attention and validation themselves. They have lived an unremarkable life and are trying to compensate for it. If you have any doubts about what I'm saying, watch Seth Meyers interview Mindy Kaling. In the interview, she talks about her voice role in a Monsters, Inc. series. She wants to praise herself for voicing the first female character in the Monsters, Inc. universe, only to realize that's all. Bullshit! All I took from this interview is that writers and creators like Kaling are looking for praise and are constantly patting themselves on the back. Nothing more. Thanks for watching.